This morning, may I introduce you or reintroduce you to Mary, the mother of James. And that's the book that we're studying. But this morning, Mary, the mother of James, and most importantly, Mary, the mother of Jesus. Now, I'm going to give you a quiz, and I want you to say the answer with me, okay, after I ask these questions. And I think that they're pretty self-explanatory questions, okay? So get ready. It's a time you can speak. Who is presented as the woman in the whole world that God picked to raise His Son? Mary. Very good. And thus, who is presented as the most honored woman in the whole Bible to have that privilege? Mary. And who is a living, breathing example of Proverbs 31 in everyday, ordinary life? Mary. That's right. And without exception, who is probably the most beloved and the best-known woman in the world, about which the whole world, or most of it, celebrates a holiday that she's deeply involved with at Christmas. Who is that? Mary. Now, that's more times than Mary's been mentioned in most Protestant churches in the last century, I'd say, right? Because we have a habit of not talking much about her. Why? Because of the excesses. But I think sometimes in the excesses we've left out the reality. Ever since I was a little boy, I've heard countless sermons about the Proverbs 31 woman. And as I've listened to those, I've always had kind of wondering who she was. You know, who could ever, they almost walk on water. Well, there's a woman that embodies that virtue. And of course, there are many. But the one we're going to look at this morning is Mary. Mary, a mother, mentioned 20 times in the Bible, is such a portrait of godliness, of humility, and of yieldedness. Mary, the mother of James and of Jesus, stands in the Scripture as an example to every one of us, men or women or children, of devotion to God and of faithfulness. Mary, her strengths, her struggles, they're all laid out in the Bible. And we can benefit greatly from looking at her today and perhaps many more times in the future, but especially today, on this day when we honor mothers. Luke gives us, and if you're in Luke chapter 1, I'm going to start in verse 26, but Luke gives us insights into this incredible woman's life. She's mentioned 20 times in the Bible. 13 of them come from Luke. 65% of all of our knowledge about Mary comes through Luke, who writes Luke and Acts. And as we turn to this first chapter, we find out the qualities that God admires in a mother and in a woman. So much that He picked her out to raise His Son.